Man, check these out. What do you think these are going to look like? Should be a huge improvement, but unfortunately, you're going to have to wait till the end of the video to see it all put together. Welcome back to Bowers Creations. New week, new project. Well, I've been at it all weekend, but new day for y'all. And let me show you what I got going on. The garage is absolutely destroyed right now. So I still got welding stuff laying around from the toolbox tour. Of course, we still have the axle rack sitting in here. Not done with it yet. Got tools sitting over here from the toolbox tour. More stuff. Of course, there's sawdust everywhere. Radio alarm saw thrown on the floor we got to deal with. I have picked up all the woodworking tools, but there's still tools over here that didn't fit in the toolbox. We'll take care of that later. But today's project is we got to completely tear this wall apart. We got to take that light down, all the antiques, all the stuff on the shelf. The DeWalt rack's got to go, all the levels, the clock, even the thermostat needs moved. And that's what I'm going to start working on. I'm not going to show you a real detailed how-to video on these cabinets this week. I'm going to show you a quick montage. And while you're watching that, I'm going to destroy the garage even more. I wanted these organizer cabinets to be an inch deeper than the previous ones. So I made several rips of particle board to 12.5 inches. Using the remaining pine from our cabinet build, I made several pieces of stock measuring 5/8 by 3/4. Using the planer, just like we did before, I milled that stock down to 1/2 inch by 5/8, removing all the saw marks and mill marks. Using a good bead of glue, some 1.25 inch brad nails, I nailed this trim onto the front edge of the particle board. This gave me a total of 13 inches. However, this ended up being a mistake. I knew beforehand I better lay out my dados before nailing on my trim, but I got gung-ho and done it anyways. More on this later. I had a bunch of puttying and sanding left to do before I could get these parts ready to size up and build my cabinet. Okay, I want to slow down just for a second to show you this. If you notice, I have a whole bunch of layout on this upright. And when you have this much layout, it's real easy to get off. What a lot of people tend to do is obviously they'll pull and mark their first measurement, but then they'll use the front of their tape to mark their next measurement. And even if you burn an inch, it's real easy to graduate those numbers and gradually increase or decrease and just get off by the time you get to the other end. So what I highly recommend when you got this much layout is go ahead and do the math. Leave your tape measure at one end and just keep adding it up. For example, my first mark was 7.5, and then I needed 5.5 from there, which is 13. And you could even get Google to help you if you're a little slow in math. Hey Google, what's 7.5 plus 5.5?
7.5 plus 5.5 is 13.
Hey Google, what's 13 plus 5.5? Well, Google don't want to work today, but you get the point. But just leave your tape measure at one end and do the math, and you have a lot higher probability of your layout staying how you want it. Now that I have my layout, it's time to start sizing up my parts and cutting my dados. I ended up hitting 2 brad nails with my dado blade, which was pretty aggravating because I knew I could have prevented it in the first place. The next step was to notch and trim out the bottom of the cabinet so it fit around my miter saw fence. I then took a real good measurement, made sure my box came out to what I needed it to, and started nailing it together using 1.25 inch staples and a bunch of glue. After installing some nailers in the top opening and bottom opening, I furred out the top rail to match the cabinets at 2 inches. It was time to putty and sand, break the edges, and these cabinets were ready to install. So I got the DeWalt rack moved over here to the left. That's going to be a temporary home for it. I got a pretty cool build coming up for that here pretty soon, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see that. But for the most part, I got everything out of the way. I haven't moved the thermostat and the levels yet because I don't want that thermostat. It goes under this cabinet, and I don't want the cabinet falling on it while I recklessly try this by myself. I cut me a scrap piece of particle board so that I could set the cabinet on. Hopefully it helps out. And I'm just going to run some 3-inch screws in it, about 4 of them. And let's see how this goes. All right, so I'll put me a mark over here to line it up on. Uh-oh. This ain't working too well. So that's what those nailers are for. Run your screws right through them. All right, so that wasn't too bad. Got it up there. Should hold pretty good. This side's coming out pretty good. I got the levels moved. I got the thermostat moved to its new location. Everything's coming together perfect. Now it's time to start on the other side. The bad thing is everything that's staying here in the garage is probably going to end up on this cabinet, and I'd only have to move it once if I just move it from there to over here. However, I don't want to do stuff the easy way. I actually want to use this all as a thumbnail once I get it all set up. So I'm going to move everything off that cabinet onto the table saw, take my picture, and then move it all back over here. Let me set you up a time lapse, and we'll get started on that now. All right, well, that wasn't too bad. It took me about 20 minutes. For y'all, it was about 20 seconds. Haven't heard from my help yet. My brother is supposed to come help me with this morning. So what I think I'm going to do is try to cut it up on the wall and then take it down in pieces. We'll see how that goes. Well, I got it cut most of the way through, but I think I'm going to use a multi-tool to cut the rest of the nailers. All right, let's see how this goes. I guess that's one way of doing it. It's been up there for a while. Wow. So this other side, we need to try to save and protect the electrical cord. So I don't know how well this is going to go. Those used to be a lot lighter when I was about 20 years younger. Let me move you out of the way before I destroy my camera. just a drill. All right. So I think this is going to be a wrestling match because once I get it up there, I only got an 1/8 inch between the joist and the countertop, but then I got to get it up over this fence. So let's see how that works out. Might be fun. That's what I was afraid of. Holy smokes. So, I may be in a world of hurt. Huh. Not too bad. I lived. So it looks like once it goes over to the wall, it's going to be a match made in heaven. Pretty decent. I'll go out there and put a screw on the top. There's one down. Still no sign of my brother. Got the next one staged. Fortunately, this one's a lot lighter than the organizer cabinet, so I should be able to throw it up, and we'll go from there. I may call in tomorrow. Oh, it's got to go up just a hair. Another cabinet up. Gonna have to try the big one again now. Down to one more, and I'm kind of getting plumb wore out. This one's gonna be even more difficult because I can't lean it in. So I'm gonna have to, I don't know what I want to do, but we're gonna figure it out. Well, that might not be too bad. That one's the easiest one so far. What y'all want to bet that's my brother? Sure is. Well, what do you think of that? That looks a whole lot better. A lot of storage space. And I got $150 in that. Now, of course, if you count glues, shelf pins, pocket screws, you could probably get a lot closer to 200. You may go over 200 just a little bit. But I got 102 inches of cabinets here and then a 43-inch cabinet there for about $150. So you can't beat that for storage. And check these out. I didn't tell you what I built those for. Here, I'll show you right now. Well, what do you think of that? That's going to store 18 of those boxes. I got a little bit of room to grow. A few of those are empty, so a little bit more room to grow than what it looks like. My God, look at this mess. For those who don't understand, that's a 7-foot by 7-foot table right there, completely loaded down. I started at 5:30 this morning working on cabinets. Of course, by the time we got all that moved, got this old one tore off the wall. I still got junk in the floor that needs to go in the dumpster. Wrestling the new ones up on the wall. I'm plumb wore out. And amongst all that, look what showed up today. Harbor Freight called, said your new toolboxes came in. You need to come pick them up. That took a toll as well. I'm tired, but we got a lot of projects coming up. We got to build a lift kit for this, get it jacked up to the same height as our 56 so we can bolt it together. We got the radio alarm saw to deal with. We'll get it done here in the next week or two, mounted, tuned up. We'll mount this old cabinet to the axle rack here, get it hauled off. We'll show you the Connex, show you our place out south of town. But for now, the goal is to get inside, get ready for work tomorrow. But I sure hope you enjoyed this cabinet build series. I hope you learned something out of the deal. It sure made my workspace a lot nicer, even though I got a lot of work to go still. But I want to thank each and every one of my subscribers. Thank you for the comments, the likes, and we'll catch you next time. All right, check it out. Little sneak peek. Thanks for watching.